You're listening to 17 Carat K-Pop, the show that's a little bit of everything with a K-pop twist. Visit 17caratkpop.weebly.com for more information about the show. That's 17caratkpop.weebly.com. Enjoy the show! Hello everybody, and welcome back to 17 Carat K-Pop. Resonance Part 1 is finally here, the new album from NCT. NCT 2020 is officially here, and I will not scream on the show, but trust me, it's been a very exciting morning for me, and I'm loving this new album already, and so it is time to just break it down, recap the album, review it, and also talk about how there's different music video symbols in there, lyrics that connect to lyrics from previous videos. I've got my theorizing cap on for the day, so we will really get into it. But first, I just was thinking about how much NCT has done as a group this year, and I really wanted to take a moment to just really appreciate all of their accomplishments this year so far, and the year's not even over. We have Resonance Part 2 out next month, and then Loveholic out in December, and my prediction will probably still hold true that they'll perform at some virtual Thanksgiving parade, and probably other virtual end-of-the-year events. So anyway, I'll add a lot to this list as the year continues. So here's a list. I've tried to be as comprehensive as possible, and because it is so long, I will go through it quite quickly. But this year, they joined TikTok. They released a ton of YouTube content, including Taeyeon's Communication Center, which will hopefully become a more regular thing. They had a lot of other V-Lives and ways to connect with fans. They also had their virtual Beyond Live concert. There was also a fan-made concert, at least for Taeyeon, probably more, but I attended the virtual Taeyeon one, which ended up having 8.6 thousand viewers and trended on Twitter worldwide at number 11 on the trending list. Also, speaking of Taeyeon, he reached 300,000 Spotify followers and became the first NCT member to do so. His Paris in the Rain dance cover video reached 2 million views, and his video for Lawn Flight reached 13 million views. NCT Dream, NCT 127, and Wave V all created channels on the new app called Blip. 2 new members were added to NCT 2020. Resonance surpassed 1.12 million pre-orders. The Seventh Sense reached 90 million views. The Neozone album reached number 2 on the World Albums chart. That album also debuted in the top 5 of the Billboard 200, which is over 3 times higher than their previous album did on that chart. They also officially became NCT 127 officially became million album sellers, selling 1 million copies thanks to Neozone. They joined Bilibili, reached 4 million Twitter followers, reached 9 million Instagram followers. Those stats referring to NCT 127, just to be clear. They also won on Music Core for Punch. Kick It reached 80 million views, Cherry Bomb reached 100 million views, Touched reached 40 million views. There was the Kick It Remix EP, their Houston Rodeo performance, that Beyond Live show that drew in a crowd of 104,000 viewers from 129 countries around the world. The NCT 127 won a Chairman Award for their contributions to the Hallyu Wave. NCT Dreams EP this year and the Remix EP both came out, as well as their first live album ever. And the EP Reloaded topped the iTunes charts in 49 countries, had over 500,000 pre-orders, breaking their personal record, and Riding became the first NCT song to hit number 1 on Melon's real-time charts. Also, we got Mark back in NCT Dream, which is huge. NCT Dream won a Bonsai Award. They became the new ambassadors for Candyland Cosmetics. Their Beyond Live show had viewers from 107 different countries and trended worldwide at number 1 on Twitter. And Wave V released their Awaken the World album. And then the B-side Bad Alive got its own music video. They'll keep adding to the list, but I wanted to take a moment because, wow, they have really just been winning in every way this year, and I'm so excited and such a proud fan. Let's talk now about the NCT world and how it's expanded thanks to this new album. If you are unfamiliar with or just need a refresher about my NCT music video universe theories, I compiled and summarized those in a couple of different NCT episodes over time based on previous releases of theirs, so you can check those out in episodes like The Empire Strikes Back, and House of Cards is a good one for the baseline understanding of my theories, but The Empire Strikes Back is probably the most in-depth. I also go in-depth about NCT videos in the episode that's just called The SM Entertainment Universe. And there are a few others. If you go to my website, 17caratkpop.weebly.com, and you click episodes, there will be a drop down menu. Click sorted by artist. And in the sorted by artist list, you can find different artist specific episodes, and then you can see all the NCT episodes listed together. So that's where your go to source is at 17caratkpop.weebly.com. But for now, let's just dive right into the quickest recap I can do about summarizing what I've talked about when talking about my theories in the past. So the first part of my theory has to do with the fact that NCT is all about dreams within dreams, and there are layers of the dimensions of reality and illusion. So it's basically, I summarize it as NCT's concept is Horton Hears a Who meets Inception. So it's like world upon world, layer upon layer, all these different dimensions of life. It's a dream within a dream, or a movie within a dream, or a movie within a movie within a dream, or a dream within a movie within a movie. You get the point. It's different levels of existence, where some of it is a movie or like a stage production and is like putting on a show. And it's really, the ultimate gist of it is that it is hard to tell because the lines are so blurred between what is real and what is a dream, what is just in your head versus what is reality. So there are a lot of dimensions to this world, this universe, and all of these worlds and layers are very complex and layered, and they get interconnected a lot, and that's why there are so many Easter eggs between different NCT videos, especially for the different subunits. I find a lot of those parallels not coincidental at all, and that they indicate that these universes do have a lot of connections, even if they seem at first glance to be separate. The part of that theory that is officially confirmed is that this is a dream within a dream type of concept. That was one of NCT's official previous album descriptions that just flat out says this is about bridging worlds between dreams and reality. The part that I'm adding to this theory originally, my original addition to the theory, is that it is not just a dream within a dream kind of thing, but this is, again, like I said, all a movie or a show, or this is something about this isn't, it's not just, it was all just a dream. It was also all just a movie, or you were all acting, or this was all, something about this is fake. And so that is the concept that I continue to see through this new album. So some of my evidence I've compiled from over their releases over time. There's the Resonance monologue, which I'm adding to this list, and I will get to talking about more in a second. There's Johnny's Regulate monologue from the Regulate album, where he says everything we see is a dream within a dream. I'm paraphrasing there, but that's basically what he said. And then, of course, there are all the song titles: Wake Up, Another World, Paradise, Dreaming, Dreams Come True, Dream Launch, Awaken the World. A lot of references, wakey wakey, so many references to waking up or dreaming. In the song Go, Mark says, quote, "If no one can understand me, then my dreams will make you understand." Dreamers shout back. In Yesterday, aka Yesterday, Taeyeon says, quote, "I need the courage to break through and wake me up from this dream." And then in the new release, in the song Make a Wish, there's a lyric, quote, "I show my dream on the surface." And then later on, quote, "It has begun the story like a movie." So this new release is just adding to my movie theories. Also, there's this voiceover in the interlude, past to present, it's called, the interlude for this new album, that says, "Life is always like the movies." That's one of the quotes in this new interlude. They also say in the interlude, this voiceover says, "Welcome to level 2," and later on says, "Try again." And those things remind me of that the whole concept of the last album was like that was the video game level of the world, where you had Kick It and Punch, and the whole Neozone the Final Round concept. That was the title of the album, Neozone the Final Round, as if this is levels of a video game we're talking about. And one of the many connections I've seen between Super M and NCT, both from the same company with some of the same members in those different groups, is the use of a phone. So like in the Super 1 video, the one for the song 1, that was the mashup of other songs, Super M's video, at the very end, Taemin is seen pulling out his phone, and there's a similar moment in the one of the Resonance teaser videos for NCT, where the phone is what is zoomed in on to reveal like another world or another dimension. So in Super M's case, they kind of zoomed out and it looked like they had just been watching something unfold on their phone the whole time. Whereas this is the opposite for NCT, where now we're diving into the phone. And actually, during that teaser, we see that when they zoom into the phone, that's when we meet the two new members of NCT. So that seems to be really intentional. So I would keep that in mind, is that part of NCT's world is kind of all a video game or another version, not just necessarily a movie, but some other form of media that is not reality. We're entering a different world, basically. They're world creating in every way. So that is the huge first big part of my theory, having to do with that these are layers of what's real versus surreal that get mixed together and very complex. And that is just added to that theory of mine by this new release because of the phone imagery, because of lyrics like "Life is always like the movies" and "Welcome to Level 2." And also in the Misfit song, there's a lyric that says "It's time to wake up and fly away." So again, the waking up reference is back. Second thing is that I feel like some of the worlds and dimensions we're talking about are heaven and hell, or at least symbolic of heaven and hell. Not just for reasons like with NCT actually having a song Highway to Heaven, but also because, as I detailed in previous episodes, I have my reasons for thinking that Wavy are in hell in this storyline. And my heaven and hell theory was only added to and strengthened by the electric chair looking device that was in the NCT 2020 teaser images. It had like these restraints on the armrests, and so yeah, I don't know what to make of that, but my guess is it has to do with that heaven and hell symbolism. And especially looking at Win's character arc of how he went from being in NCT 127 to falling off that building in the regular video, and then his character was like reborn in a way as this spiritual type figure with the white robe for Simon Says era stuff, and then he went on to be in Wavy, and then in the NCT 2020 teasers, Win's character looks like he's front and center walking straight out of that elevator, which is one of the key symbols. It's like a time machine / elevator. Now, what is confirmed is that it's an elevator. I mean, that's obvious, but my theory is that it's also a time machine, which we will get into in a second. So, part one of my theory is that these are layers of reality versus surreality. Part two, this also has heaven and hell concepts and symbolism at play here as part of those layers of existence we're talking about. And part three is that NCT's story has a lot to do with the law of attraction. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, it is relevant. The law of attraction basically being, as I talked about in previous episodes, so I'll just say it really quickly here. It's just basically that what mirrors us is us. We are society, so we can criticize society, but we can't forget that we are society, and we mirror society, and society mirrors us. We become mirror images of what surrounds us, our surroundings, but our surroundings also become mirror images of us. So I guess the shorter way of saying that is that we are projecting and reflecting reality all the time. So we need to keep in check how we want that reality to look and how our impact on society we need to look at and really spend time deciding if that's the impact we truly want to be having, because everything comes back around. So 1, dreams within dreams; 2, heaven and hell references; 3, the law of attraction. And all of the specific ways I see the law of attraction playing out in the NCT world I've already discussed, but I just wanted to remind you all that that is still relevant to the story. So those are the 3 main thematic components of my theories, but as for more specific symbolism at play, I have to add to my list now of how those specific symbols were carried out. The first one is the fact that these characters keep stopping to stare up at the sky. They just stop and stand there and look up at the sky. This was in Regular, this was in the We Go Up video. It feels very intentional. And again, these characters were staring up at the sky in one set of teaser pictures. I believe it was for Misfit. So I just feel like that's super relevant. They are like looking out into, like I said, it's the Horton Hears a Who type of situation. They're looking out into another world, and that seems intentional. Second repeated symbol are the clones. Those I didn't really see much in this NCT 2020 content, but there's always next month. But I do think it's important to remember the clones that we saw in the Superhuman video, as well as in Taeyeon's role in Super M. Third thing is that elevator. That elevator, that time machine type thing, feels really important because it is the front and center symbol in the NCT 2020 teasers, and because, of course, NCT 127 has the song called Elevator. And connecting subunits here, the little elevator ding noise that is in the song Elevator is the same ding noise in Coming Home by NCTU. So keep that in mind. Also, in the Resonance teaser videos, there is an elevator type thing, like an outline of an elevator. It's not the same one though. So in the teaser pictures, there's that big silver metal one, and then in the video teasers, there are just like the outlines of a white one. So NCT has played with color a lot, as we've discussed before, so I feel like that is symbolic and important to note that now it's all white as opposed to like this rusty gray color elevator. Number 4, the theme park setting. This has come up time and time again in NCT Dream content and is back for the Deja Vu video, which feels like a clear symbol of just youth and reflecting on youth and going back to a youthful time in your life. This ride also is like it's a spinning top style ride. It looks like a giant spinning top. It's one of those like whirly bird rides, I guess you could call it, whatever that's called. And that type of theme park ride, it looks like the skeleton of that type of ride, that metal structure that is used to build it, was the metal structure you see in the background of NCT 2020 teaser pictures. And that same skeletal structure seems to be replicated in the Make-A-Wish video now, where NCT members are like swinging from it, and just the shape of it all reminded me of that theme park ride, so I feel like that was intentional too. And also, I just want to call this out before I even see the memes, just know I expect the memes to come. The fact that they were all gonna swing from the chandelier, yeah, I mean, we all know that the memes are coming for that, but anyway. Number 5, the metal fencing. So it's hard to have a better word for that, but it's like the kind of like surrounding a playground metal fencing. Hopefully you can picture that. That I've seen from Taeyeon to, it seems to cross over different NCT eras, from Taeyeon in the Limitless video to Mark now in Misfit. Mark also looks through those gates, and Yuta was looking through those gates in an earlier 2020 teaser. So Taeyeon looked through those gates, and then Yuta did again this year, and that already made me think, ooh, this is an intentional parallel between eras. And then Mark looked through it again for the Misfit era, so I feel like this will keep happening to different members. They will look through the gates out at something. Number 6, levitating. Remember that a lot of members seem to have levitated in the air in past videos, although for Lucas, his levitation was in a Super M video, not in an NCT one, but I feel like that's still showing the superpowers, the supernatural forces that are a part of this world. And number 7, the movie cameras and other indications of, like I said, these different layers of production and putting on a show. So in the NCT 2020 teasers, there were the picture frames, the projector screen type thing that was set up to show the Highway to Heaven music video set in the projector screen of sorts. There's that doorway that without a door that was in the middle of one teaser image, and other like entry points to different worlds. That is what I've extrapolated, is that it's entry points to different worlds or just symbolic of that. There were also movie cameras as props in those teaser images. So also, my personal favorite part of this theory, just because it's one of the most out there parts of the theory that's probably just a coincidence, but I find it amusing, is that Wavy in the song Turn Back Time, they say 5, 4, 3, 2, but they don't say the 1. And you know who else doesn't say the 1? Are movie directors. They say 5, 4, 3, 2, and that's it. And just like the song. So I'm just saying, you never know. Anyway, so overall, with that movie feeling, it's all about, I think, how NCT members are confused and distorted thanks to different media depictions of them, and they don't know really what is really them and how much is just putting on an act, how much of themselves is fake. And so NCT's whole journey, if I had to sum up the story in one sentence, I would say that it is demonstrating how to understand yourself better and go back to yourself and truly figure out who you are. You have to first encounter and face all of your different characters, all of the ways you put on an act in public, and then you can figure out who you are in private and how much that differs from who you are in public, and then how much your outgoing public persona really you want to emulate in your personal life as well. So it's merging different parts of yourself together to figure out who you are authentically when, so to speak, the cameras are off. So remember, the official definition of resonance is, quote, the quality in a sound of being deep, full, and reverberating, or, quote, the reinforcement or prolongation of sound by reflection from a surface or by the synchronous vibration of a neighboring object. So the main thing to take away from the definition of resonance is that it's about reflection. Reflection and reverberance. It's reflecting and mirroring something around you, vibrations that extend to something around you, all about that law of attraction, all about the energy you put out into the world and how that can in turn affect your self-image and make you feel like you are a better or worse person. So to sum it up, the symbols here, we've got the staring at the sky is still here with the NCT 2020 release. The clones are not back, but they might come back. The elevator / time machine is back for sure. The theme park setting is a new trend I noticed. The metal fencing is a new trend I noticed. The movie cameras and such are a continued theme. And then the levitating is another theme that seemed to take a break but might come back as a common theme in this story. And specific character arcs to keep in mind are, of course, including Mark, because he's everywhere and there may be a deeper reason why he's in so many subunits as a character. There may also be a deeper storyline reason for why his character is now back in NCT Dream, especially for a song called Deja Vu. You know, my theory-loving mind loved the fact that the song's called Deja Vu. It gives me a lot to ponder. And also keep in mind what I noticed in the Past and Future video. It's called Past and Future for NCT 2020, is that the last person who gets to be on screen and get a close-up is Mark. He's the one that gets to reach toward the camera before the screen goes to black. So that felt intentional and important to keep in mind. Also, Taeyeon is a key character to keep in mind because remember the last time he got everyone in NCT together, it was for a project called NCT 2018. And that was when they basically could all form this giant circle in the Boss video, and their formations were just more, it was a collective formation as opposed to subunit formations being made. And so now they're all gathering together again in a big circle, with Taeyeon being the one who just, with a clap of his hands, suddenly they've all assembled around him. So he feels like a big kingmaker in this whole saga. Also keep in mind that ball symbolism, holding the ball in his hand, that feels like a world in his hand type of thing he's thinking about. So Taeyeon has a lot of power in this story. He's one of the masterminds, I think, so keep an eye on his character as well. Now let's recap the parallels that I've said and ones that I have not mentioned yet, either because there wasn't time or it just feels more relevant now and is added onto by the new album. First, let's take a quick break. An incredibly interesting and insightful activist and regular TV commentator who I really admire and like to follow online is Brittany Packnett Cunningham, and I'm very excited to be able to promote her upcoming podcast. This podcast, quote, aims her focus on the most pressing issues of our time through the lens of intersectional feminism, from the latest headlines to deep dives with today's most fascinating changemakers. Undistracted is your weekly guide to the revolution. Stay tuned for a lot more information, but the trailer for the show is now available on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcast, so make sure you subscribe for updates about that. Very excited for the show to officially be released. Again, that's called Undistracted. So when I say Dream here, just know that I'm referring to NCT Dream, and when I refer to 127, that's NCT 127. Dream has the song Quiet Down, and 127 has the song Sit Down. Dream has a song called My First and Last, and 127 has a song called End to Start. Dream has a song called Puzzle Piece, and 127 has a song called, it's called Daydream, but then one lyric is We Can Solve It. So we got Puzzle Piece, and then We Can Solve It. And Dream and 127 both have a song called Boom. Now, what I failed to mention before were a couple more parallels. First of all, the song Chain, one of the lyrics in the song Chain is Make a Wish. And I forgot about that until I realized that NCT 2020 now has a song called Make a Wish, which feels like a throwback to The Chain. And this is all about breaking the chain. And we're going to talk about that again later in this episode. But just keep that in mind. Also, in the song End to Start, Mark says a lot of key things that I had not paid enough attention to before. Side note, End to Start in general is just sonically and lyrically very well done. It's really, the instrumental is very powerful, and it's just really a really great cinematic song that is underrated for sure in NCT's catalog. So anyway, in End to Start, Mark has a couple of lines that stand out to me. One is when he says, "The origin will begin," which feels super relevant here. Also, another lyric from that song, "Connect the scattered points with a line chain," which kind of reminds me of not just the song chain, but the line diagram I discussed in a previous episode. "Dance on the surface to draw and dance all night." That lyric I just like, and so I'm sharing it. "Gotta end it tonight to start again, ready for a new fight, time for a slaying." And it's a lot of seemingly video game or movie terminology here, talking about the origin story that they're sharing. It does feel like they're acting here. Then there's the lyric, "It's a blaze toward a blurred future that is literally shaking." I like that lyric. It's a blaze, that's the flame symbolism we've talked about before, and then toward a blurred future, that's because there are blurred lines between what's real and what's not, and so I find the lyrics to End to Start to be very revealing. I also hear some parallels between End to Start and Kick It that I've discussed before. It seems odd, but it's there. One more interesting parallel that I noticed from past releases before I get to the 2020 album parallels. Mark in the song 100 by NCT 127 has this lyric called, "I'm already on a train though." Like he's coming to see you, but I'm already on the train though. And then Mark in the Super M video, well, not Mark Taeyeon, but still in the Super M video, another member of NCT for a song that's also called 100 is literally on the train. So I don't know, I feel like that is really cool that they have the same song title and then the train reference. There's something there. In the song Make Your Day from a previous release, there is this lyric about a birthday, and then in this new album, there's a song called Make a Wish with another birthday lyric. So there's Make Your Day and then now Make a Wish, both have birthday lyrics. There's also, in Misfit, there is a lyric that goes, "There's a long way to go," which reminded me of the song Long Slow Distance. And lastly, Mark has this line in Misfit that's, quote, "It's been a minute, I'm in it, and I'm feeling like a winning chicken." And that is such an NCT lyric, but it just made me think of the Goose Goose lyric from Boss, when really a goose symbolizes like a sense of purpose flying into your life, so it's actually more meaningful than NCT just being their kooky selves saying goose goose, which I'm sure is part of the appeal of it, but also that they do have sometimes deeper meaning that you overlook, because it's just kind of fun, goofy, classic NCT at first, but when you stop and think about it, it actually has a purpose that's deeper than you think. And so the Goose Goose lyric is part of that, where it's about, the goose can be a symbol of something flying into your life that indicates, here's your purpose, here's your goal, here's your direction in life. And the fact that Mark is now referencing feeling like a winning chicken, I don't know, I feel like there might be a connection there. So just some things to think about. Now let's talk about the new videos specifically and the new album overall, track by track. In the video for Make-A-Wish, aka Birthday Song, they not only swing from that chandelier and they have lyrics about dreaming and the story is like a movie, but they also have a few things to keep in mind that I haven't talked about yet. First of all, Yuta. Remember, he in the mini music video that came out with the song Boom during the last comeback, when each song had like a mini video to go with it. In the Boom video, Yuta is carrying a birthday cake. I feel like that's important to remember now that we have a song called Make-A-Wish, aka Birthday Song. Other thing is that the final image, you've got to be careful with NCT videos and other SM Entertainment videos really, because when the screen looks like it's faded to black and the video's over and you see the logo on the screen and it looks like that's the end, there tends to be a bonus scene or some other moment that you've got to pay attention to after most people might skip the video or press stop. So make sure you watch the very tail end of any video from NCT though, because in this case, At the end of the Make-A-Wish video, there is a scene for a split second that shows a small little white butterfly flying into this room that is full of flowers and sunshine, and things look very happy. So I feel like that scene is a very important thing to keep in mind for the future, and there may be a music video in the future that goes back to that setting. Third thing about this video is that at one point all the members throw those red sheets up in front of them, and it's like a magic act, then they literally disappear. So the magic power element of their whole universe is back, and we do have like maybe the levitating will come back and things like that. So keep that in mind, that the superpower elements may not be the main driving point of this part of the story, but they're still there and part of this multi-world universe that we're talking about. Also keep in mind, though, that we're still experiencing indication that this is kind of like a simulation of sorts, because there's one scene in the Make-A-Wish video where all of the members are circling this stage, and each member has like a moment where they can be on the stage, and they kind of glitch in and out of it with like a flame enveloping them and a whole thing. It's a whole like voodoo style moment that just makes me think of the fact that they could just be glitching in and out, like there have been glitches in previous videos or moments where characters seem to pop in and out, and the flame symbolism is back too, so keep that in mind. In the Misfit video, not only do we have Mark up against the gate and more lyrics about the chicken and all of that stuff, and there's a long way to go and other lyric parallels, but this is also a song that has some new lyrics that don't have parallels necessarily, but I just want to share because I love the message of the song Misfit. It's one of my personal favorites on the album. Here's some of the lyrics. And I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit, so these aren't in order, but I'm a misfit, there is no right fit that matches me. Suffocated like I'm wearing clothes that don't fit. It's sickening, without hesitation, just rip it. That made me think of their superhuman move where they rip open their jackets. The more they try to pull me down, the more I get lifted. It doesn't even bother me too much. I'm bossin'. Your false step, it's time to wake up and fly away. You know I got excited when I saw the wake up lyrics for my theory's sake. It doesn't matter what they say, I would do whatever I want anyway. I'm always on the run. If you don't like it, you just gotta stay out of my way. Forcing us into the same mold, we might destroy it. And the "it's been a minute" lyric, I feel like a winning chicken. This fit never fits in. The things that block me are already 6 feet under my feet. Break the system, trust your instinct. There's a long way to go. So a lot of lyrics about, don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna carve my own path in life and just be who I am. And that embodies this whole theory and their whole lesson that they carry throughout their work. And also, I love that this fits into their catalog and my theory so well, but also I really like that they have some lyrics that are really great mantras to carry. Like, now I can say to myself every day, break the system and trust your instinct. That's a way to just kind of live your life, unapologetically question certain norms and just go with your gut about what you think is right, not necessarily what other people or society deems is right. And so there are things like that they have in their lyrics that are just so memorable and stand out to me, and those can be a positive influence and really make you see life in a different way, really. Alright, let's talk about the song Volcano next on the track list. That one, my main comment as I was listening to it is just that it sounds like the sister song of Boss. It sounds like it's a partner song for the song Boss, just sonically, and I just thought that was really interesting, and that's a good thing. The song Lightbulb, and then there's Dancing in the Rain. Not much to say about those two, I just like them. They're classic good NCT songs. Then we have that past to present interlude with those Welcome to Level 2 and Try Again voiceover moments to keep in mind. Then there is Deja Vu, the song with NCT Dream, where we have the flashback to the theme park setting. Also keep in mind, in the Deja Vu video, there is a part of this mini movie where Mark picks up a letter. This is at the beginning. He picks up his letter, and when they hold it up for a split second on the screen, here's what that letter said that all the Dream members were reading. It said, "Hello, we were waiting for you. The competition for picking the best stage of 2020 will be held soon. The precious memories that appeared on stages are shining once again. Challenge yourself to the best competition with your team. We want you to join us in this festival. I'll meet you on the stage." So more stage references. I found that worth noting. They also use the phrase "once again," which is, another song title. Also, I think I don't know, it's just cute at the end of the day too, those lyrics. And so keep that in mind if you were wondering what that screen said for a split second. You're welcome, I figured it out for you. Then we had this on Nectar, which is a classic wavy song. I really like it. That's one of my personal favorites, honestly. It just goes off. I love it, and it is so wavy. So I love that they're the subunit that got to sing that one. And another personal favorite of mine is Music Dance, Music, Dance. That one's just really great. Faded, my last song, is after that. That's good too. From Home is How It All Ends, the song From Home, which is this multilingual ballad that's a really great song. All of them are just really great, honestly. And I like to, you know me if you're a long-time listener, I like to really sit with a new album before I decide my favorite songs off the album. So I'm not quite 100% sure yet. I'm leaning towards saying that my favorites are Misfit and Nectar and Music Dance, but I need more time. But none of the songs are skippable. None of them deserve skips. So this is just another really high quality piece of work from NCT that fits really well into my theories about their overall concepts of just embracing who you are. And it's a lot about self-reflection and introspection, and then not just introspection, but then manifesting that's whatever you learned from your time undergoing this introspection is stuff you should manifest and spread to others. That's what I get out of it. So the next time someone views NCT as just this weird, goofy group that sings about, like, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, yo, and other moments that are like, what did they just say? Just know that they actually do have some deeper meaning mixed with the fun songs. So a lot of it is just fun to speculate over, even if a lot of what I'm saying ends up being totally just my theories that are totally out of the expectations, out of whack, or whatever, however you want to put it. It's really, the point is that I am theorizing about it. I just really love and appreciate. So the next time that you judge someone for liking any type of music, I would encourage you to think about what it does for them. And for me, it's a fun hobby, it's a fun escape, and it's a fun world to immerse myself in and think about as a tool for not only discovering who I am and what values I have and want to live by, but it's also a way for me to just let loose and have fun with some songs, and also just enjoy getting really analytical and thinking about other songs. So I just derive a lot of unique meaning from NCT music, and so I really appreciate that. And I think everyone can and hopefully will find an artist in their life that does that for them, where they are able to take the artist's work and make it their own, make the listening experience their own by figuring out what about the songs resonates with them specifically. That was a perfect way to go full circle here by saying it's about what resonates with you. And this album is Resonance, and part 2 is next month, so of course I'm going to have another NCT episode about this album later. So, in sum, NCT music just brings me so much joy, and I want to share that joy with you. So hopefully this was not boring, and it was actually an interesting, good summary of NCT's world. I hope you go check out the new album. It's called Resonance Part 1. They have music videos out now for songs like Make-A-Wish and Deja Vu and Misfit from the album. Probably more to come because there are a lot of visual aspects of NCT's world that they keep bringing back. Also, side note, I realized that during that Super M live stream when Taeyeon and Lucas were video chatting other members and they couldn't say what they were doing and what they were on set for, I guess they were on set for the Make-A-Wish filming. Now we know. Anyway, so all of these fun Easter eggs I will continue to go back to in future episodes of the show, so please share the show with fellow N-citizens and spread the word so I can keep talking about them on the show and know that people are listening. As for what I want to see during part 2 of this album, there are a couple of things that I really hope are a part of Resonance Part 2. One is more switch-ups and more subunits, more changes in terms of who is partnered with who for the songs. Another thing is just the constant mix-up of style choices sonically and fashion-wise. I also hope there's a return of, like I said, the metal balls that they hold in their hands at points or just levitate above them in videos, because that's a key symbol I keep talking about, and I want to see that come back to validate my theories. Fourth is I want to see the return of that pink plastic horse from the teaser images, because I have questions still about that. Fifth, I hope there are more throwback clips and little winks to past eras in the videos for Resonance Part 2. hopefully another fire truck reference, because that's where a lot of this all began story-wise. And we saw that with the fire hydrant in the background of one teaser pic, but I want that indication in videos as well. And that kind of sums it up. So what I really hope to see is a lot more of what NCT is already giving us, which is a constant, surprising yet also comfortingly familiar mix of sounds and vibes and messages. And so I'm very excited to see where the story goes from here. So later this week, we are going to talk about a bunch of new music that I have not reviewed yet on the show. We've got to talk about BTS's online concert event from this past weekend. We've got to talk about the beginning of K-Contact Fall's virtual K-Con event, as well as some other new versions of concerts taking place that we haven't talked about yet, including one where we all literally stand in bubbles. That's an interesting, real thing that's happening that I want to talk about. Other news stories about the music industry as a whole, as well as the world of K-pop more specifically. Lots to get to later this week on another new episode of the show. But that is all for today. Thank you all so much for listening. Please check out the new album, please spread the word about NCT, and share this episode with fellow N citizens, and I will see you later this week.